702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Five minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. My name is Thabo Shole-Mashao. I'm in for Clement Manyathela. We are together all the way until 12. Thank you once again for sticking and choosing 702. Let me just quickly give you some heads up as to what's coming up on the show. The open line between now and 10 o'clock. I don't know if you read that story in the Star or you got wind of it, where the court overturned school sanctioned for learners caught vaping. The story was written by Zelda Venter of INL, and Zelda was writing that the Western Cape High Court declared 2 disciplinary actions against 2 learners who were vaping in schools hostile, unlawful, as the school's governing body twice punished them for the same offense, which amounts to double jeopardy. The now grade 10 learners were twice found to be vaping, and the first incident was at the end of year 2023 when they were in grade 8, and the second incident was last year, a few months down the line. So the school decided to expel these 2 learners. They're just known as M for mother, L for Lima, and simply because you need not identify them because they're still minors, and they should not be identified as such for their protection. So they're known as M and L. So when I said M for mother, it's just to let you know that it's not N for November. It's not the name of the learners at all. So but I digress. So the real issue here is that the Western Cape High Court overturned the decision of the school to expel these learners. And the judge said the governing body during the disciplinary proceedings treated vaping as a criminal offense, which most likely influenced both the severity of the sanctions imposed and the way the transgressions were assessed. And the judge felt that this action to expel the children was somehow disproportionate, and the school should have been a little bit amenable to the fact that this decision is too excessive, and they should not go that far as expelling the learners. Now, the question comes back to us, because when the parents of these 2 learners were informed that your children are going to be expelled, we've dealt with them on this matter many times before, and we feel that now they should vacate our premises simply because they might poison the environment, and we'd like to keep a certain sense of discipline in the school. One of the fathers wrote to the school and said, "I do not agree with this decision of expelling my child, and I want to appeal it." And as a result, the matter ended up in court, and the court thought, no, that's not the way to deal with children, just to kick them out of school. So the question that I have for you as a parent, as someone who works perhaps in the schooling environment, generally as a South African who would be concerned about these matters, did the school become too excessive in their punishment that they meted out to these 2 learners? Or should we say that these learners really contravened the conventions of the school? The rules and the disciplinary code of the school was transgressed by these learners more than once. And for the parents to come to the rescue of their children, all that they are doing is encouraging wayward behavior and ill discipline of their children, and using the court as a weapon to deal with the school, as opposed to giving proper discipline to their children at home. And now you are protecting a child who transgressed the rules of the school. You are protecting a child whose behavior is unbecoming at a school, and you are using the might of the law against the school that is trying to protect other children from your child. Because you at home, you can't deal with your own issues. Now you outsource the discipline to the school. And when the school gives that discipline, you act against the school nonetheless by taking these matters to court. So I wanted us to just look at this. And also, the judgment of the courts. Isn't that a little bit interfering? Of course, the court is the arbiter of various disputes, all disputes in our society, I suppose, especially the ones that are taken forth. But, isn't it meddling of the judge in matters that have got to deal with the school? But also as parents, how far have we gone to try to be so overly protective of our children? Why can't you find another school for your child? They've asked your child to stop smoking at school, vaping at school. And your child keeps on doing this. But because you have got money, you are well resourced, you are going to take the school to court. I find it rather odd that parents would go that far, especially when your child is wrong, especially when you know, what are you saying to your child? What message are you sending to them now? That, hey, boy, do whatever you want at school. Daddy's gonna get very expensive lawyers to cover you up. Beat up other children, do as you please, and then daddy can afford expensive lawyers, will take the school to court. Are we not supposed to be working hand in hand with schools as far as the discipline of the children are concerned? Or it could be that you're thinking, the school is way, way too unfair. Just for vaping, you are kicking the kids out. And these are bright boys. They are contributing to the sporting and cultural activities of the school. The school has admitted that these are smart kids that are doing so much for the school other than these two misdemeanors. That's what you may want to even refer to the vaping as. And why can't you find a creative way of disciplining them and still keeping them in the system, not throwing them to the doldrums of infinite, perpetual fires of the Hades? I'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. Who's on the right and who's on the wrong? Another venture that I thought we could exploit in the open line, the death of our policemen. Yesterday, there was a commemorative ceremony, and the police were saluting the departed colleagues at the National Police Commemoration Day at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And it was said that 27 men and women in blue had died in the line of duty in the past 12 months. That was from April last year. So many policemen dying in the line of duty. Surely it can't be right. I'm the first to speak about police brutality and say this, that, and against the police, but so many policemen dying. What does it say about us? When you go to countries like China, policemen are revered. We had an incident, an associate of mine had an incident in China some time ago at Tiananmen Square where someone was taking pictures of us and then they wanted to swindle us of more than what was supposed to be received, and he was just creating a fuss about it. And we were supposed to pay, I think, about 20 yuan. And then he wanted us to pay about 400 yuan or something like that. And we had this heated argument with him until a police lady marched across the square, and we saw the police lady and we waved at her. The guy did not even think twice. He gave us our money back, he gave us the pictures, and he just went on his way. I don't know what the policeman said to him, but what the police lady said to him, but he just left. He was so shaken. I don't think that we have that in our country, where we have proper respect for the policemen, for the men and women in blue. When you see them and you have shivers down your spine, okay, that's pushing it a little bit. But where you realize that this is a figure of authority and you recognize that. I don't think we have that. But the lack of that leads to individuals taking advantage to an extent of wanting to kill policemen. You remember those 2 policemen in the West Rand who passed on not too long ago. Remember what happened to them. I mean, I think the guy is still at large, and it was said that he fled to another country and he shot, we don't know who shot those 2 policemen dead, and they were taking him back to the police station, and the guy apparently took their vehicle as well. And I mean, he shot them execution style, allegedly, execution style. There's something to be said about us being so brazen. We have seen videos. The last one was in Ekurhuleni, where a community member was literally exchanging blows with a policeman. I was like, hey, but you're fighting with a policeman in front of everyone, dragging the policeman down, beating up the Ekurhuleni Metro Police, and the people were laughing and what? You're thinking, what is that? What is that? That is not to say that policemen are perfect and policewomen are perfect. It's not to say that. We speak about it when they do wrong. But I mean, just to get into a boxing match with a policeman, just like that. And by the way, it's not new at all. You'd remember those very funny Leon Schuster movies when the pranks are being held in that famous Leon Schuster. Some people would literally want to beat up a supposed policeman. And you would be thinking, what are you doing? The level of disrespect for the authorities, for the police in this country is scary. We have to deal with it. Well, let me know. The lines are now open on 011-883-0702.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
I mentioned Abel because he's the technical producer. He's responsible for making sure that technically we are sound and there's a clear bridge between you and I. And the 2 major chefs of the show, the 2 guru producers of the show, Sinazo and Zintle, are also here. And of course we can't do it without you. Feel free to send your thoughts, your messages, your text messages, and your voice notes to 072-702-1702. 072-702-1702. I would also love to hear from you if you'd like to call on any of those things that I've mentioned, or you have your own offerings to put on the table. I'm more than happy to entertain that on 011-883-0702. Let's go straight to Simon in Alberton. Simon, good morning.
Hi, Thabo.
Hi, Simon. Can you hear me?
Yes, 100%. Thabo, I don't blame
Simon,
the
I'm going to ask you to hold just 1 second. Ne? I'm battling to hear you, but I'll sort out the problem. I think it's not you, it's me, the side. Great. Abel came to the rescue, and now I'm sure I can hear you. Let's try again, Simon.
Thank you. And now, how does it sound? Is it fine?
No, I can hear you perfectly. It was on my side. I apologize for that. It was not you.
Thank you, Thabo.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Let's not blame the parents. Let's not blame the school. Let's not blame the kids. Let's fully blame the parents. The parents are not disciplined. The parents, they've got money that they don't know what to do. Maybe these tenders money, people that get it and they don't know what to do. How can you take a school for vape? Are you saying to me all the kids must vape at school because of 2 kids? No, it doesn't work in that way.
Sure.
Discipline is discipline. Because I say the parents are not disciplined. They've got money that they don't know. They must donate that money to poor people, man. Mustn't play with money.
So, Simon, are you saying that the school was excessive? It shouldn't? Are you saying that the school is right by kicking the kids out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because they say this has been happening several times. What the school was supposed to do.
Why can't they find another way of punishing them? They could suspend the kids. They could perhaps get the kids to go to detention. They could get the kids to pick up litter around the school. They could find ways, force them to write essays or find creative ways. Expulsion should be the last thing, especially when the kids are so young. You might be throwing their future away.
But, Thabo, you know what, when a person is not disciplined, and that person is from the rich people, you can't do nothing. You can't just do nothing. The father says, I'll fight for you. I've got money. The government give me money that I don't know what to do with it. I'll take them to court. Of course, yeah.
Well, Simon, let us know. Those are the views of Simon. I'd love to hear from you. Simon is saying that these are wealthy parents and they're abusing their power and the kids must be expelled. I'm not too sure about that. I've served on the SGB before, school governing body before. I had always mitigated against learners being thrown out of school, or at least the recommendation of expulsion of learners. I had always thought we should find ways, and whenever I engaged those learners, more often than not, you'd find out what the problem was, and it didn't have much to do with the incident, but it was a reaction to other underlying issues. But what do I know? Let me know. 011-883-0702. And let's take some voice notes, Abel, before I forget them and get into trouble. 072-702-1702.
Thabo, good morning, and also good morning to your listeners. Jake's here in Waterkloof. You know, I'm just listening about these learners and that are punished for vaping. I'm just thinking of how lazy sometimes we can be really when it comes to correcting misbehaviors. I mean, we send them home. We telling them not to come back to school for what? To continue home smoking, sitting home smoking. I don't find any correctiveness in that decision. I do feel like this school board also need to be helped in corrective measures, you know, as to how do we really implement things that can have a longer corrective measures in them than just terminations. Because for me, it's like you just terminating growth, you just terminating future on a shortfall. I don't know, just my thinking.
Yeah.
All right, Jakes.
Hola, Jakes.
Hi, Thabo. It's Monges in Joburg. I don't really have the answer in terms of what schools can do or what parents can do for that matter. The only thing that I've come to learn is that schools themselves are a bit hamstrung in terms of what they can do or how much of their regulations or code of conduct they can really implement, because while a child can be expelled from school A, they can go to school B. It doesn't mean that the child who is of, in air quotes, ill discipline stays out of school, because the law doesn't allow that. So whether they go to a different school, whether they are expelled or not, they will end up in another school with the, again, in air quotes, bad behavior.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is. It's more of a question really of how we as society can deal with this, or how we could improve this kind of behavior. It's Mongezi.
Morning 702 listeners. Regarding the issue of the learners that should have been expelled, they most certainly should be expelled. There is a generation of children that, one, this behavior is taught at home by disrespectful, undisciplined parents that actually think, and this is just shocking that you think that it is okay that your children conduct themselves like this at school. Many schools make the parents sign a code of conduct and how their children have to act at school. And why? Why drag this into court? If your children have gone against this disciplinary code of conduct, and to go and get expensive lawyers, and the fact that the court found in favor, that just shocks me even more. So one day, when your kids get into the work environment and they get dragged into a disciplinary action because of their behavior, because you as parents have taught them this, good luck with that. Are you going to go and get more lawyers and go to the CCMA and the labor courts? You are teaching your children to be undisciplined and disrespectful, and it is disgusting.
Yeah, very heated. I must say that I agree with a lot of what you said there. And I would understand. I would understand if you're taking the school to court for not wanting to keep your child because they want to learn differently. I would understand. But for ill discipline, that has been repetitive in nature. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. But let us know on 011-883-0702, 27 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go straight to Mpho, who's been holding for some time. Thanks for your patience, Mpho, in Pretoria. Welcome.
Hi, Thabo. Good morning.
Good morning, Mpho. What's on your mind?
Thabo, I think this issue with the school is really disgusting. And I mean, for a parent to take the kids to take the school to court, that is just out of the question. The school is going to find it extremely difficult to discipline other students and to just maintain discipline in the school, because now they're seen as, these kids will come back to school and they'll be seen as preferential treatment, and it's really going to be extremely difficult for the school to uphold discipline and the code of conduct, going forward. I think they're really compromised, and for this particular parent to even go as far as taking the school to court, I think that is atrocious. We are setting some bad examples here for our kids, and it's going to come back to bite us in the bum. And it just goes with the impunity that we're seeing in this country, really. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Sure. And I take that, Mpho. I take that on the chin. I would like to just introduce one thing to you. But do you think that the discipline was proportionate to the contravention? Or could the school have found another way of disciplining the kids without expelling them?
And you're raising a very good point. So, because then after this, it means all the schools now need to go back to their code of conduct and revisit them and recalibrate them. But I mean, for what? It's a code of conduct. If you're applying for a job and they tell you this is a dress code, you can't come in a different dress code and say, no, but I mean, you guys are very strict. It's just a code of conduct. When you took your child to that school, you knew that was exactly what they were, supposed to be doing. You signed it, like that lady was saying, who just called. So I think it's very disappointing, and we need to be very careful as parents. How we apportion our resources, but one way not to go about it is to protect your child when they've done wrong. And especially in this manner. The unintended consequences of our actions as parents, as we try to protect the kids, and we think that we are doing the right thing, and then we could be doing something wayward, and that could encourage the kid with the unfortunate behavior. Mpho, really appreciate your time. It's exactly 9:30.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
702 indeed. We have been canvassing a number of issues and on the open line between 9 and 10. In the previous half hour, we touched on the Western Cape High Court that overturned the decision of the school to expel kids who had been caught vaping more than once. The parents took the school to court, and the court found that the school's action to expel the kids was a little bit excessive and disproportionate with the contravention. So I've been asking you, what do we do under circumstances? Should the school have found creative alternative ways of disciplining the kids, or did the parents go overboard? And the overreach of the courts, goodness me, to go to that point, the court could have said, guys, go and sort it out. Go and sort it out and then come back to us. We can't be dealing with this. I think that the level of overreaching was just too much. But listen, I'd love to hear from you. You're a parent. You know better. Who's who in the Zoom? My name is Thabo. I'm in for Clement. We're together till 12. It's great having you with us. Feel free to send those voice notes to 072-702-1702. Alternatively, 011-883-0702.
Morning. The issue about police killings, I think, again, unfortunately, it ties back to our history. Whereas South Africans, we've not challenged ourselves to say things have changed. We must also change our point of view. So obviously, historically, the police was used in the townships, and our black population has a very negative perception of the police. However, it's a function that's necessary. We can't now, 30 years later, still have, I think, the same view and mindset of police than we had during the apartheid years. So, there are many things where things in the country have changed, but I think maybe our attitude towards things haven't changed. The ongoing challenge of how we evolve as a country.
In the case that you were talking about the police in China, that a guy ended up running away because he respects their law enforcement. The challenge we have here, Thabo, respect goes two ways. Our police, they don't respect themselves. They drink in uniform. They do things that makes people not even to start to respect them. They love money so much. So that's why you find that there is no respect. But if you want to be respected, you start by respecting yourself. Show that you are a law enforcement. Show that you are a police. But here, even if the wrong ones, they are the right one. Even if they stop you, they find everything is right. You've got your license, you've got your belt. They're always going to look for something for them to get something. So things like that, it makes us as people not to respect our law enforcement. But if they respect themselves, I promise you, Thabo, we will also able to respect them.
Morning, Thabo and the team and everyone there. Mahlatsi in Midrand here. Thabo, I think things have changed, man. How our police conduct themselves, it's and how we interact with them, and the bribery issue that is on the plate. And we know that when something is wrong in my car, I would just give them a 20 rand, whatever, and then I'll be free. It's one of those that makes us whether to value and respect them or not. How they conduct themselves as well. But the other thing is, I support them when those policemen who are seriously working, when they're met with fire, they must just fight fire with fire, because you can't just stand and die while somebody's trying to kill you. But the conduct as well, man, they need to change. They need to be the police for the people and fight crime. That's all.
Very interesting views. I think there are one or two that I can't just leave them just like that. The contextual historicity that was mentioned earlier by one of the voice notes, I think is very relevant and important. And in the past, that's how we used to view police. I say that because I'm also from the townships. And that's generally how the police were viewed, and that picture needs to change. However, it has to be said and added onto that it is not only one segment of the population that is going against the police. I've mentioned those videos of Leon Schuster, and we saw what happened, where people were just ready to beat up policemen just like that. And it was not just one segment of the South African racial grouping. It was just across board. I think your context is very important, and I take it because it is true to an extent. But now, it is across the board. It is across the board. I don't want to speak about other cases such as BS Roo case and others, but it is literally across the board, and I don't want to make it a racial thing. I think all of us as South Africans must respect policemen. We must, and rightly so. Policemen must also carry themselves in a way that is becoming of people who are upholding law and order. That is also something that can be said, and the two do not necessarily contradict one another. I would love to hear from you on 0727021702. Let's go to Teresa from Northwest. Teresa, hi. Morning. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Thabo. How are you?
I'm great for hearing from you.
I'm always speaking on this channel. Why? Because I've walked many roads that you speak about there. So I want to speak on the issue of the children. From a teacher's point of view, now I'm farming, but from a teacher's point of view, I've been a teacher for many years, and I've even taught here in South Africa. So there is two sides to a coin. The first side is, in the school, there are children who are bullying teachers to a point that teachers would just want to out. And there's a code of conduct in the schools, and the children deliberately break that code of conduct.
Yeah.
And parents are called in. Parents do nothing about it. And children are suspended. These are the mitigatory measures. Children are suspended. They come back even worse. You see, and then they affect the whole school. And then these are the children who are looking on. They want to see what so-and-so did, what happened to him.
Yeah.
If there is nothing that happened to that one, these other children are going to follow suit to a point that the whole school becomes like a jungle.
Yeah.
And then teachers just want out. Principals just want out, but they've got bills to pay. On the second level, my recent school, I was there temporarily, and it turned my head upside down. It was just out of sorts in that school. You know, the children, the teachers literally cried in the school. The principal cried. All the mitigatory measures were done, but nothing helped. And I realized that some parents were actually behind their children's misbehavior.
Teresa, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for your insights. And it sounds like you have traversed those spaces before. Sammy, you are in Centurion High.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Sammy.
So, children are a reflection of their reflection of the type of families that they come from. And people are forgetting one thing. Schools are there to teach. They are not there to instill discipline in your child. They are not psychologists. They are not whatever names whatsoever. So if your child is not able to abide to the school's code and disciplinary codes, they need to be kicked out. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
We need to look at it that way. This whole thing of saying that no, teachers are supposed to do this, that, and the other, and discipline my child. No, people need to understand this. Parenting is a heavy responsibility. It's an institution in itself. That's why some of us don't have children, because we can't handle it.
Yeah.
We won't be able to handle the job of being a parent on top of having to go to work and so on. That's why some of us don't have children.
And so I envy you. I really envy you, Semi, because many of us don't make that decision and people become emotional when they raise that subject, that if you do not have the wherewithal of being a parent, rather don't go that way. And people will be told about reproductive rights. I envy you for that, because people like me as well are very much useless at parenting. And I envy people like you who said, I'd rather not go that route because I don't have the capacity to, as opposed to some of us, and myself included, who are useless at parenting completely, you know. But Semi, let's leave it at that, brother, and give others a chance. Shadrach is calling from Reimsech, my neck of the woods. Shadrach, hi, welcome.
Good morning, Thabo. How are you?
I'm trying my best, Shadrach. I'm fighting every single day to become a better person. How are you?
I'm good. Thabo, I want to comment on this issue of unruly school children. Yeah, Thabo, my take is that if as parents we're not careful enough, actually parents must realize and understand that the school is a public place whereby it's not only your children who are there to get taught. It's a whole community there, and then other children they actually are there to be taught. So if you have your children doing things around turning the place into an uncontrollable area, then becomes problematic, because now you're denying other children the chance to get schooled or taught. So parents, instead of making sure and helping the teachers that happens, now they start thinking about my child.
Yeah. Shadrach, let's leave it at that. Really appreciate your inputs, Shadrach from Reimsech. 15 minutes to 10.
7:02.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
7:02 indeed, 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. 072-702-1702.
Hi, Thabo. This is Thabo, do you remember the apartheid police regime?
Yeah.
We can say all we want about those police force. By the way, they were called police force, not police service. Yes, maybe they were a bit harsh, but one thing for sure, those guys, they know how to maintain or to keep law and order.
Yeah.
Maybe we feared them, but I seem to miss them now, because these policies that we have, honestly, were as good as no police. You may argue to say, no, we need to respect police officers and not fear them. For me, it makes no difference. If you're going to fear police and yet to still have order being maintained, for me, I'm good with that. Thanks, Thabo.
Thank you.
Hey, Thabo. Morning, Tibos. This is Michael from Centurion. Yeah, my brother, just like to add on the issue of the people attacking the police. My brother, our police also are very, very corrupt. You know, it is embarrassing to find a policeman, they bribe them at the tuck shop of the illegal immigrants. They give them 20 rand. They bribe a whole police officer with 20 rand while we are watching, you know. So you can't compare our police with the police of China, like Russia. You know, they are very, very disciplined. Our police, they are rotten. They are like our leaders. Our leaders, they stinking rotten. Thanks. It's Michael from Centurion.
Good morning, Thabo. You know, you're asking a question about us respecting the police. The police work for us. Let's start there. They work for the citizens, not the other way around. And when you talk about authority that needs to be respected, how do you respect people who don't respect themselves? And they don't respect the very same citizen that they need to serve. This is a police service. They need to serve us. You go to the police station, they can't even help you correctly. There's policemen and women who have criminal records. There's policemen and women who are causing corruption every day, dealing with taxi drivers who are taking bribes, who are doing all. And you hear to say you must respect them. That's an insult to the citizens. I will never respect you if you don't respect yourself. Even worse, you don't respect me. But I pay your salary with my tax. You pay your salary with the criminality that we are doing on the streets here. So respect the police in South Africa. Forget about it. They should start respecting themselves and respecting the citizens first. Thabo.
Good morning, Thabo in 702 land. You know, the guy that just spoke about respect, spot on. And I'll tell you why, Thabo. My incident was with a traffic officer who is an officer of the law. And this guy caught me speeding. It wasn't me personally. I used to have a driver and my driver was speeding. And he arrested my driver. And, you know, I remember we had such a good conversation with this guy and he took a genuine liking to me. And, you know, we went through to the police station. We did the process. We had to attend the court, whatever. And then he caught me again, the second time, speeding again. One of my other drivers speeding again. And he said to me, you know what, ma'am, I like you, but you know the drill. And again, we went to the police station. My driver was arrested, had to pay bail, all of that. I have such a profound respect for this man. I wasn't happy at the time because I lost money. But yeah, respect yourself and you will be respected. Palisa and Waterfall.
Palisa, and I agree with that. And there was a voice note prior to yours, Palisa. And I'd like to say this. One, we definitely respect is reciprocal. It has to be exchanged and it has to go both ways, right? Let's dispense of that. But secondly, we need to stop the overgeneralization of policemen and any other people in their various professions or industries. It's like saying all soccer players are womenizers or they just love to have a good time. It's not true. It's a gross generalization that we need to disabuse ourselves of. One, there are many policemen who are not celebrated like they ought to be. And I'm surprised that policemen have not called in to protect the integrity of their office as well. Because even if you wanted to remain anonymous, I'm happy to take your call as a policeman, because you're being trashed and being thrown with everyone else. There are great policemen whom every single day put their lives in jeopardy, at risk for you and I, every single day. Some of them die without us knowing. Some of them chase after criminals. And the fact that they haven't died does not mean that they don't put their lives on the line. We have to stop the overgeneralization. There are amazing policemen out there. And yes, there are scum policemen as well out there who are just an embarrassment to all of us. But this overgeneralization doesn't say much about us. I mean, if you're a lawyer, is it okay to say, all lawyers are liars, man. They eat people's money and they lie. Lawyers are just liars. Hey, doctors, they just no, you can't say that. Oh, well, we must argue a little bit better. And I'm not protecting policemen at all. I have been in serious altercations on the road. The policeman would then be accosting me. And I've had that. I've really had that. And where I had fights with policemen over this, that, and I thought they were unfair. But nonetheless, it's not all policemen who are like that. And even if they were like that, there is no justification for murders of policemen. Assuming they were like that, all of them. So they must just be shot dead by criminals. No, I think we should do better. Let's do better. I'm not a spokesperson of the policemen. I think you know Brigadier Athlenda Mati is. So don't think that I'm coming to their rescue. But I'm just saying it can't be okay, this overgeneralization that is taking place, and we must just take it. It's not right at all. 5 minutes to 10 o'clock. Kutlwano in Midrand. Kutlwano, hi.
Hi, Thabo. In relation to give us South African giving respect to police. Yes, we cannot paint them with the same brush, but the majority, Thabo, they are so unprofessional. Thabo, in quotes, they are so useless, some of them. See them, kupagile izimoto kulamashop abo, my friend, baphuma lama-plastic. Visit a police station as a migrant. I was shocked. Seeing them, abo my friend, basingenele laphayana baphuma nama senior policemen kuyo ezimotweni kubuya nama-plastic. Thabo amaphoyisa wethu. We called them when we had issues. You know, they looked and were explaining what happened. They wanted us to help ourselves. Ziboneleni nizositshela ukuthi nisove kanjani. Bakhwele ezimotweni. They will tell you ukuthi asikwazanga ukuya endaweni ethize because there were no transport to take us there. But you see them bapake emagarage bathenga amatikiti amalotho bapake lapha emaceleni. Thabo, we travel, we see what is a police.
Yeah, Kutlwano, thanks very much for that. I agree that at some point we are exposed to that. And before you left, I wanted to ask you, if the policemen are so useless, why are our jails so filled with criminals? If they are so useless, no one is doing anything, right? According to some of you, no one is doing anything. There's crime everywhere. Why are our jails so flooded? The prisons are flooded. Who caught them? Did they hand themselves in? Because in the value chain of criminal justice system, the police must just go and make an arrest and intervene. That's where it starts. So why are prisons so full? The criminals have had a change of heart and they've just handed themselves in and they've said, oh, okay, let's just march. And it can't be. It cannot be, guys. And Lelona policemen, say something for yourselves, Zeman. Call in 011-883-0702. You are too quiet. Say something for yourselves. Call in, defend your honor. At least those who are good, call in. Of course, there are bad ones. No one is contesting that. There are terrible policemen out there. But there are also great ones. I mean, who just face the criminals head on. let us know. 011-883-0702. 2 minutes to 10 o'clock.